Hello everyone, let's take a look at the League of Legends Garen action figure. Before we took a look at Ashe from the same line, a figure that had some strengths and some shortcomings, but overall was good enough that I decided to go ahead and get this other figure from the line that was, one, also on sale, and two, appealing to me because of its looks. So Garen here, I am not familiar with League of Legends, I'm afraid. So I'm approaching this again as a collector of action figures, in this case a figure that I'm only interested in just based on its looks without knowing the background. And one of the good things, in my opinion, about Garen here is that he looks generic. He looks like a generic hero from a fantasy story, from an RPG game, and that's good to have. Another thing that I like about him, his face is also quite generic, but I think in a way that in toy form at least, you don't always see it executed properly. I think his face being fully painted, like the skin sections are painted as well, allowing us to appreciate the sculpt fully. So I like that. Another thing about the looks is, like, to me at least, with his big hands and big feet, kind of reminds me of Joe Madureira type of style, something like out of Battle Chasers or something like that. So he comes with a stand, a display stand, just as we saw on Ashe, as well as this huge sword that he can hold with no issues. The sword is it's nice. Be careful with the tip; it's quite pointy and could hurt you if you're not careful. You can hold it with no problem in both hands. One of the things that looking at this guy kind of said to me that it could be a bit of a budget figure. It may not be, but it feels like a budget figure. It's this section here and the arm, the way the arm connects with the shoulder armor, and it's a bit unsightly and obvious from a low angle like this one. This is something that definitely would have been better if it had been a bit more hidden under the armor. It's a bit of an eyesore, honestly. But honestly, I think that's the only negative thing that I can say about this guy in terms of the sculpt, the look of it. A cool thing is that the sword can be stored here on the back of the figure, and this section can be removed as well. I'm not sure if it's designed or intended to be removed, or maybe they forgot to glue it in piece, but you can take it off. Maybe it's just me, but I thought maybe this sword could go in a bit more than it does. When you put it back on the figure, the hilt kind of extends a bit too far up and looks a bit weird. Like, imagine, I think if you were able to push the sword down a bit further, it would look something like this, which I think would have made more sense. But maybe it's just me not applying enough force. But maybe not, maybe it's just like that. Now, a shortcoming with this figure is the articulation. It has a lot of articulation, and including double jointed knees and elbows, which work pretty well. This one is a bit hard to move because I hadn't moved it before, honestly, before this video. The elbow is a bit easier because I already played with that before. Wrist can move, the head can move side to side, a little bit up and down. There's an ab crunch that doesn't move too much in, but a bit more out. And all of that is very great. Problem is, just like with Ashe, he doesn't have a bicep swivel, so that limits a lot of the articulation, the poses you can make. This section, despite having an ab an up crunch, doesn't have a swivel at the waist, and the feet can rotate. This one is quite stuck. Can rotate and move up and down, but they have no rocker. So I think that in the hierarchy of importance of joints, double jointed knees and elbows are not as important as what the movement that a bicep swivel would give you, or an elbow swivel and rocker at the feet, because by not being able to lay the feet flat on the surface, you are more limited, especially if you are using the stand. Well, that's pretty much everything I have to say about Garen from the League of Legends action figure line from Spin Masters. I quite like this figure. The limited articulation, as I mentioned, hurts him a little bit, but in general I think it's a very cool figure, and I like how generic he is, and I would recommend him, especially if you find him on sale like I did. Well, thank you very much and have a good day.